and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Uche, and on this channel we talk Bitcoin in a short, simple, fun, and easy to digest way so that anyone can understand it. As you all can see, my makeup is already done and I'm not in my regular recording studio. I'm trying something new with the channel and trying to make sure I give you all my undivided attention. Whew. Oh my god. It has been a minute since I last made a video, and so much has happened in the world of Bitcoin since then. Like, El Salvador became the first country, but certainly not the last, to make Bitcoin legal tender. Bitcoin is now at over 60K per coin. And also the topic we're talking about today, which is that Twitter has now implemented a new tip service to where you can now send money to anyone, anywhere in the world instantly for virtually no cost and without a middleman. And they're doing this through the power of Bitcoin. If you're an immigrant like myself who has family and friends living outside of the US that you send money to, or if you're a business person who has manufacturers or clients that live outside of the US, your mind should be blown right about now. But let's go ahead and break it down why this is so important for people who never have to deal with that hassle of sending money internationally. Most people know about payment apps like Cash App and Venmo. When those first came out, I thought it was revolutionary because essentially you could send money instantly and for free to your family and friends or whoever, even if they banked with a different bank than you. This was a big deal because prior to that, if you wanted to send money to someone who banked at a different bank than you had to either write them a check, or you had to withdraw the cash and then hand it to them and they put it in their bank, or you had to go through a wire transfer, which takes days a lot of times. So I instantly loved Venmo and Cash App when they came out. But the issue with services like that is they only operate in the United States. So for those of us who have to send money outside of the United States, we still have to resort to services like Western Union, MoneyGram, TransferWise. There's so many of them. And these services have been the only option for decades, but they have their limitations as well. First of all, they're slow as heck. For me to send money to someone in Nigeria, for example, I'll have to send the money. It takes days to become available for that person to pick up the money. And that's the second limitation, the fact that the person has to physically pick up the money from a Western Union authorized retailer. This means that they have to physically leave their home and trek to this place. And when they get there, they get the cash. And now they're in this dangerous situation where they're carrying a large amount of cash and then they trek back home. That's just super inconvenient. And a lot of times, depending on how far a kiosk is, like maybe the person I'm sending money to lives in a village, something like that can take a whole day for them to get the money that I'm sending them. With most of these transfer services, you're also able to deposit the money directly into their bank account, but you have to pay an extra fee in order to have that convenience of depositing that money directly into their bank account. And that's the third and biggest limitation of these services, is the exorbitantly high fees that they charge in order to use their service. So imagine you're trying to send $100 to a family member in another country. If you're using Western Union, you're paying anywhere from 10 to 50% of that money in fees, which means that your family is only getting anywhere from $50 to $90 of the $100 that you sent. For most struggling immigrants who come to this country with little to nothing, that's a lot of money to pay in fees. But because there's been no other option, that's what we've had to use all these years until now. Hallelujah. 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 This service that Twitter is offering integrates an app called Strike, which is a payment application like Venmo or Cash App, but it's built on the Bitcoin Lightning Network, which enables them to offer instant payments globally and at virtually no cost, unlike Venmo or Cash App, which only operate in the United States. So what is the Lightning Network? I don't think that the average consumer needs to understand all the technicality of the Lightning Network and Bitcoin in order to use this service or understand what the service is doing. The only thing that you need to know is at one point the knock on Bitcoin was that it was slow and it was expensive to transfer to someone else. So Bitcoin developers now developed the Lightning Network, which is another layer that works on top of Bitcoin, makes Bitcoin faster to use in real life for day-to-day transactions, payments, and sending Bitcoin instantly to others. So Strike, the payment app, uses the Lightning Network to offer instant payments and final settlement to any person or merchant no matter where they live in the world. So with their integration with Twitter, you link your check-in or savings account to your Twitter, and then you can tip someone in your native fiat currency like dollars and pounds or euros. And Strike takes that money. They work their magic in the background, converting it from your fiat currency into Bitcoin, and then they use the Lightning Network to send that money across the world to whoever is receiving that money, and they convert it back into that person's native currency. It enters their bank account instantly and at virtually no cost to you. So if I send $100 to someone in Nigeria, they will get the full amount. And this is such a huge deal because no other service offers this. So my 3 big takeaways of this Twitter integration of Strike. First of all, Bitcoin, and specifically this Twitter integration, is doing for money what the internet did for communication. So back in the day, if you wanted to send someone a letter or talk to someone that was at a distance, you had to send a pigeon or a horse and carriage, and that was slow. And then came the mail service, which was less slow, so you could send a letter or a package. And then came landlines, where you could pick up a phone and actually call someone, and that was expensive and slow to call people even locally. To call people internationally was even more slow and more expensive. Then came phone cards, where you go to a corner store or some retailer, you buy a phone card, you dial the 1-800 number, and the automated message prompts you to put in the number that you're trying to call in Nigeria or whatever country. And that was slow and cost money, but it was less slow and less expensive than all the other technology that came before it. And then the internet came along. And then we got services like WhatsApp or Facebook messaging, where you could instantly talk to someone that was on the complete opposite side of the world. WhatsApp, as long as you have Wi-Fi, you can call someone in Nigeria as if they're right down the street from you. The internet made communication better and faster and cheaper. And that's what Bitcoin is doing with money. To where even if you're sending money to someone in Nigeria or China or El Salvador and you're in the US, it's like they're right there with you and you're handing them the money. There's no middle person that you have to go through, that you have to pay in order to have access to that person. You and that person are able to deal directly with each other as if you're right next to each other. That is a powerful thing. And you don't have to pay any fees. They don't have to trek to Western Union to pick it up. It's just easier all around. Just like the internet is the global means of communication, Bitcoin is the global money and makes it so much easier to transfer value to anyone, anywhere in the world. And this is most important for people that are living in poor countries. Which brings us to my second takeaway. Bitcoin is the future. And I believe other major companies will start to enable payments via Bitcoin and the Lightning Network because of the instant finality that it offers. Some people still, to this day, say that Bitcoin has no real use case and you can never use Bitcoin for day-to-day transaction. But in countries like El Salvador, businesses there allow people to pay for everyday goods using Bitcoin.
This song is perfect timing. Oh, cheers. Bitcoin Beach.
Bitcoin Beach?
Yes.
Sí.
Do you like it? Is 50? Like that?
Sí.
Confirm. Perfect. Okay.
You can literally pay for a cup of coffee using Strike in El Salvador. And the coffee shops don't have to pay the fees that they would normally pay to Visa or MasterCard like they do here in the US. This Strike integration with Twitter is not just for remittance. It also has business and commercial use. And side note, speaking of El Salvador, did you know that this little country of 6 million people spent over $3 million US in one day buying Bitcoin? As in, they value Bitcoin more than the US dollar. Like, I'm sorry, why haven't you bought Bitcoin again? It's almost becoming a no-brainer at this point. And you know what? I need to make a whole video about El Salvador and what is going on over there because they are really leading the way I keep saying it, they're the first but not the last country to make Bitcoin legal tender. And for a whole nation state to make Bitcoin legal tender, that was the biggest news of the year. And this Strike integration with Twitter is the second biggest. It's really amazing to watch El Salvador shutting down people that say, oh, Bitcoin isn't real money. No one will ever use it in everyday life, or the silly things that these so-called experts say about Bitcoin. But anyway, back to Twitter. My third big takeaway is that Twitter has completely disrupted the remittance industry overnight. And Twitter has freed vulnerable people that are living in poor countries that are underbanked. Twitter has freed these people from the oppression that is brought on by traditional banking systems. Like I said, the average fees for remittances to places in Africa or South America is 10%, and it can be upwards of 50%. And these developing countries have really, really high remittance rates. For example, in El Salvador, 20% of their GDP comes from remittances. And all these remittances have a 10 to 50% fee attached to them. The president of El Salvador said that El Salvadorians pay over 400 million US dollars every year on remittance fees. Just the fees alone, since they adopted Bitcoin, that $400 million is money that is going back into the pockets of El Salvadorians. When their family from the US and other Western countries send them money, they will get the full money now. They don't have to pay any of these fees. So that's money that they can spend to make their lives better, to give themselves a future, that they can save, that they can use to improve their quality of life. Like, we might be able to take for granted 10%, but imagine those fees for someone who is poor. And also the loss of productivity, having to trek to Western Union and risking possibly getting robbed because people know that they have cash on them. Those are things that they don't have to worry about anymore. So now they can focus on things that actually improve their lives. And again, literally no other service, no other payment application offers this service. Not Venmo, not Cash App, not PayPal. This integration is going to put companies like Western Union out of business. And it'll also remove the barriers that cost the underbanked so much money and time. And this service has many other benefits for everyone all around. For Bitcoiners who invest and want to hold their Bitcoin and don't want to spend their Bitcoin, they're able to use the service to send money without actually spending their Bitcoin. And for people who don't like Bitcoin, who don't want to hold it, who don't understand it, who don't like the volatility of it, they're able to use this service as well without having to invest in Bitcoin, even though really they should be investing in Bitcoin. But okay, I understand that there are some people that are still a little bit skeptical about it, but that is not a barrier to you using and benefiting from this service as well. And then Twitter benefits, even though they're not charging a fee for using this service, they benefit because now there's gonna be a lot of people who are using Twitter and engaging on Twitter for the main purpose of sending money. Who would have thought Twitter would be used for something like that? But hey, here we are. Crazier things have happened in 2021, I guess. And then companies will benefit because they don't have to use Visa or MasterCard when they're trying to get payments from their customers. People don't know this, but they charge the companies fees every time a customer swipes their card or uses their card to make a payment. A lot of times those companies will just pass the cost on to their customers, so the goods that you're paying for actually become more expensive. But some companies also will just take on the cost, but they'll make you make a minimum, like let's say $5 purchase or something like that before you're able to use your debit card. I don't know if you've ever noticed, some companies or stores do that, especially the smaller mom and pop stores. All that can go away with this new integration because it'll be virtually free for retailers and companies to accept payments through Bitcoin and the Lightning Network. And I believe that they will. It's already happening in El Salvador. It's already happening in Nigeria, where people are using the Lightning Network to buy and sell goods. Don't be surprised if retailers start accepting payments through Twitter, of all places. The only downside of this integration is for now it's only available to iPhone users, which makes me feel like the unloved red-haired stepchild with my Android. That's okay because apparently it'll be available to us Android folks soon. Only people that don't benefit are the legacy financial banks and systems. They are so screwed, as they should be, for the ways that they continue to screw us. Maybe we can all play the tiniest violin for them. And that is all for this video. I am super excited to be back. It has been a while since I've uploaded. Life has been insane. But like I said earlier, I'm gonna try out this new format for a little bit. Please let me know how you like it. Let me know what you think about this Twitter integration with Bitcoin. Is it something that you feel like you can benefit from? Is it still confusing to you? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys soon in the next video. Bye.